What is up, you guys? Diggerdan here, coming at you with another video. Today I'm doing my February wrap-up for what I read in February of 2024. So without further ado, let's dig into it. Now, I read a total of 6 things in February. 4 of them are actual full-length novels, and then 2 of them are manga, but it's Korean, so it's not technically manga. I'll just call them graphic novels, and if you know what they're actually called, since it's Korean and not Japanese, let me know in the comments down below. So the first thing I read is easily my favorite thing I read for February, which is Dune by Frank Herbert. I would recommend go watching this review if you haven't already. But yeah, like I said, this is my favorite out of the month. I rated this one just over a 9. I think it was 9.04 out of 10. And if you're curious how I get my ratings, like I said, go check out my review for it, and I break it down based on my different categories. But yeah, Dune completely blew me away. I never thought I'd ever read Dune. I just thought it would be too big and chunky and I would never understand it. But now that I'm getting more back into books these last couple of years, obviously with BookTube, I'm kind of a little more serious with books, or at least I want to be. And with the new movie that just came out on, I think, March 1st or something like that. Yeah, I figured I would take a stab at Dune, and I fell in love with it. And yeah, I just, that's all I'm going to say. I just loved it. And I see the inspiration that Dune has on so many other things, like on Star Wars and on even like the Wheel of Time. And I'm sure there's countless other things, but those are like the big 2 that stick out to me personally, just in my experience with media, with movies, obviously with Star Wars, but then the books for the Wheel of Time. But yeah, so this is definitely my favorite thing I've read out of the 6. Now, the opposite end of the coin is of something I really like is something I was really disappointed in. This is something that you probably never even heard of, but this is Basil Broketail by Christopher Rowley. I was really excited for this one because it's battle dragons, and it's just like a different weird fantasy world that I haven't explored before, and there's 7 books in this series, and I do have all 7. But yeah, I was really disappointed. The writing wasn't really that great. It was kind of average. The plot was below average. And the characters themselves, Basil and his orphan boy, Relkin, they really kind of were almost side characters in their own story. So I was really disappointed with this one. I rated this one is a 4.58. Again, I do have a review. I have a review for all of these, or at least I will have one, depending on when video is released compared to some of the reviews. But this one, since I have all 7, I plan on at least reading book 2, maybe book 3, depending on what book 2 does for me. But my expectations were way up here for this one, and now for book 2, they're going to be way down here. So yeah, we'll see. But Basil Broketail. Now, the third thing I read was actually one of those graphic novels I was talking about, Solo Leveling Volume 1. There's actually an anime for Solo Leveling that's being released right now, which I didn't realize. But yeah, anyway, I saw on TikTok a number of years ago, someone recommended the actual novelizations of Solo Leveling. And so it was been on my TBR for a while, and I decided to finally pick this up from the library, as you can see. But I was confused, and I didn't realize there was also graphic novel version. So that's what this is, and that's what the next one is as well. But from my understanding, it's basically the graphic novelization of the written prose version. I'm not positive. I still am really excited to read the actual novel version. But yeah, so I really enjoyed this one. It's very in the realm of lit RPG, where this is the main character, Sun Woo Ju, I think is that? Jin Woo Sung. I'm sorry, I screwed that up. He's the main character, and he's like the very low rank hunter, and then he's gaining these skills, and just kind of see that level progression to me is really, really fun and cool. So yeah, this is the third thing I read out of the 6 for February. Now, skipping one of the novels, just to go to the next graphic novel, I read Solo Leveling Volume 2. And this one I liked a little more than Volume 1. I didn't mention, but for Volume 1, I rated that as an 8.3, and then for Volume 2, that is an 8.43. I do have a review out for Volume 1, but I don't really want this to be like a manga graphic novel channel. But if that one gets enough traction, maybe I'll do a review for this one. But if not, I'll probably eventually have a written review for this on my Goodreads, which I do have linked down below if you want to follow my reviews or be friends on Goodreads. So yeah, I did like this one more. The first one, it laid a lot of groundwork. This one is really where where the main character, Mr. Sung, really starts level progressing, and he can really start to get more powerful, and it's just really satisfying. So number 4. Now the third novel I read was Star Wars: Heir to the Empire, which is also the Thrawn trilogy. This is book number 1. As you can see, it's Legends. So before Disney bought Star Wars rights, this was the extended universe. So I think, in my opinion, not to start anything, but I think this is more canon in my heart than episodes 7, 8, and 9. This is just way more intriguing, the story that's told, because this takes place 5 years after the events of episode 6. So yeah, I just like it a lot, and I actually plan to read book number 2 from this trilogy this month in March of 2024, obviously. And yeah, so I didn't really have very high expectations for this one because I have read a couple other Disney novels that I did not, Star Wars novels that I didn't really care for. But I've heard really only good things about this trilogy, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. And so I managed to get all 3 at a book sale. And so I snagged all 3, and I decided to finally take a stab at the first one. And like I said, I was pleasantly surprised. This one I rated is a 7.06, so not amazing, but still I would say that's above average. So yeah. And now the last book, book number 6, I read or 4, depending how you rate it or whatever. I read Elantris, or Elantris, however you want to say it, by Brandon Sanderson. And I've heard a lot of mixed things about Elantris. That yes, this is Sanderson's first novel that was published. He's written, I think he said multiple times he's written like 6 or 7 before he finally got published, or maybe this was his 7th book he wrote. I don't remember exactly. But this one kind of shows, because I don't remember when it was released, but it's been a while. This was originally written in 2005, so it's been almost 20 years. And I've read this, Legion, and Tress, the Emerald Sea from him. So this is only my 3rd book that I've read of him, only a 2nd book in the Cosmere. And I didn't love it. There was things that were just kind of boring, like Serene, one of the main characters. Her whole thing was like the politics around all these events, and the politics to me were kind of the most boring part. I really liked kind of the religion aspect a little bit, even though I kind of still dealt with the politics. So I forget his name, like Harath and something. His role was kind of in or out. I was kind of wishy-washy about him. And then the main character, I forget his name, Raiden, I don't know. He was the one I was most interested in because he was like exploring the whole magic system. He was exploring the whole actual city of Elantris. But I feel like he was almost kind of a side character, even though he was a main POV character for Serene. So I didn't love that. I am today of me recording this video, I am recording my review for this Elantris. So you can expect the review for this soon. Yeah, I didn't love it, but I will tease you and say that my rating for this one out of 10 is 6.44. So yeah, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And yeah. And so just to wrap up this video, I just want to remind you that my goal for this year of 2024 is to read 40 books, 40 books by the end of the year. And as of right now, according to my Goodreads, I'm at 12 books, but that includes 3 graphic novels I've read. So if you exclude those, I'm still at 9 books out of the 40. And for 2 months, I feel like that's pretty darn good, especially since I do have a baby coming on the way in June, right in the middle of summer, kind of high end of summer. So that's probably going to slow down a lot of my reading time. So that's kind of why I'm trying to chunk in as much as I can now. So then when the baby comes and that's going to take up all my time, obviously for my wife and for the baby. But yeah, anyway, that's it for me today, guys. That is the 6 books I read in February, and that is my monthly progress report, I guess, for my books read. So have you guys read any of these? I'm assuming you've read at least one of them, like Dune or Elantris are probably the 2 most popular. Are you kind of surprised by my thoughts? Are you excited to see what I read next? Any of those good questions or thoughts, please throw those in the comments down below. I'd appreciate every single one. Yeah, if you guys like this video, please hit like down below. If you want to see more from me, Diggerdan, please hit that subscribe button as well as that bell notification icon so you guys know when I upload each and every single time. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.